Today we're going to talk about Section 2 of Chapter 10, which focuses on the government and society during the Roman Republic. Can you guys all hear me fine? Good. So, we were talking yesterday about the plebeians sort of starting their own government body, and this frightened the patricians. So, in the 400s BC, they start to make adjustments in order to placate the plebeians, to make the commoners happy so that they aren't going to revolt against them. There's always a threat of that, especially when the upper class is smaller than the lower class. And Rome definitely had a smaller patrician class than they had a plebeian class. So they create new offices that could only be held by plebeians. And the people who hold these offices have the responsibility of protecting the rights and interests of plebeians. Over time, we do start to see the differences between the two social classes start to disappear. It takes a very long time. This is a gradual change. The first of the government bodies refers to the magistrates, the offices of the magistrates. So, the government ends up becoming what we call a tripartite, which is a government with three parts. The U.S. government is a tripartite. Um, each of these branches of the government has checks and balances in order to keep the others from becoming too powerful. They all have their own rights, privileges, powers, things like that. Um, the first of Rome's government bodies is made up of elected officials called magistrates. They're elected. People vote on them. The two most powerful magistrates are elected each year, and they're called consuls. So every year they vote on consuls, and these two individuals work together to run the city and lead the army. And there are two of them to keep any one person from having too much power over the city. The second part of Rome's government is called the Senate. The Senate's a council of wealthy and powerful Romans who advise the city's leaders. Originally and in the past, when Rome had had kings, the Senate advised the king. The Senate is a pretty large government body. At the start of the Republic, they had probably 300 Senate members, and this is a position that they hold for the rest of their lives. Most Senate members are patricians, wealthy Romans. But as time goes on, you start to see more wealthy plebeians becoming senators as well as some magistrates who, like, once they retire from that job, decide to join the Senate. By the year 200 BC, the Senate has a lot of power and influence over Rome. Any questions so far? All right. The third and final of Rome's governing bodies is called the assemblies and the tribunes. It's basically uh, the part of the government that protects the common people, and it's split into two separate branches. The first made up of assemblies, um, which are both patricians and plebeians who are responsible for electing magistrates. So the assemblies elect the magistrates. And the second branch, the tribunes, are made up of elected officials. These are elected by plebeians, and they have the ability to veto the actions of other officials, meaning they can override the choices and decisions and laws made by other officials in the government. So it's really a very powerful position. But a tribune can only stay in office for 1 year, so they have a term limit to sort of limit the amount of power that they have. take a minute and jot down this chart here. It gives you basically the checks and balances, main purpose of each of the three branches of the Roman government: the magistrates, the Senate, and the assemblies and tribunes. Take a second, look over that, make sure you jot this stuff down. All right. So, like this says, the basic breakdown of the different groups. The magistrates have consuls who lead the government, and the army judge court cases. They serve for 1 year, and they had power over all citizens, including other officials. The Senate advises the consuls, serves for life, and gains control of financial affairs. Assemblies and tribunes represent the common people, approved or rejected laws, declared war, and elected magistrates. Roman citizens can take part in assemblies all their adult lives. Tribunes serve for 1 year, could veto the decisions of consuls and other magistrates. So they're trying to balance each other out with different powers and abilities. On the topic of civic duty, essentially the Romans have a very strong sense of duty to the Roman Republic and to make Rome prosperous. Those who can vote are expected to do so. It is a long and arduous process. Powerful citizens usually feel compelled and responsible for holding public office in order to help run the city. So there's a lot of pressure on the more powerful and wealthy citizens to do that. And the Romans create a system of checks and balances to keep other parts of the government from becoming too strong. Keep in mind, Rome's government is quite complicated, so getting involved in the government, it's a big commitment. As far as written laws go, officials are responsible for creating the laws and making sure people follow those laws, just like modern governments. Unfortunately for the early Romans, the only people who knew all of the laws were the patricians who had written the laws, which of course is going to upset some people because they don't know what the law says. So what if they accidentally break the law? No one wants to be punished for breaking a law they don't even know exists. Solution to that? They start writing the laws down. The first written law code in Rome was produced in 450 BC. It's written on 12 bronze tablets that are displayed in the Roman Forum, which is basically the main gathering place for the Romans. And this became known as the Law of the 12 Tables. The Law of the 12 Tables. You need to be familiar with that. Now, on the topic of the Roman Forum, these are the ruins of the Roman Forum. This is basically the center of Roman society. They go there to, first of all, the 12 tables are in the Forum. But this is a public meeting place. A lot of Roman citizens gather there. This is a site of several government buildings and temples. People go there to shop, they chat, they gossip. Government leaders even go there to give speeches and things like that so that they can deliver their messages to crowds and also get a sense for the feelings of the common people and mingle with them. So, be familiar with what the Forum is in ancient Rome? Does anyone have any questions?